You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. As tensions in Manipur continue to soar, two Central Reserve Police Force personnel lost their lives in an attack by Kuki Maoists. The army personnel were attacked in the Naransena area. While in this attack, the terrorists fired indiscriminately from hilltops, which of course gave them a strategic advantage. As per our reports, terrorists also hurled bombs, and one of them even exploded in the outpost of CRPF's 128 Battalion. Condemning the attack, Chief Minister Biren Singh said that such attacks demonstrate cowardice against dedicated security personnel who work tirelessly day and night to uphold peace and stability in this state. What could this mean, and why has this happened, and what can be done about it is something that we will talk about. Major Khongsai Kuki Welfare Association member joins us on the show. Major Mohammad Ali Shah, defense expert, with us on the program as well. DGP Mr. B.L. Vora, terror security expert, also joins us on the program. Mr. Vora, I'll begin with you, sir. So we heard from some of the people who, were there. They were a part of the security blanket. They were also a part of people who spoke to the media. What they said and what I heard, and I'm sure you will concur and validate this, is very concerning. They're saying that so far the attacks have not been so blatant, and so far the attacks have not taken lives, and so intentionally. Well, Manipur has always been on the boil. A few months of calm and something like this happens. How do you look at this, and how is the government supposed to react?
First, we need the volume of voice. If it can be increased slightly, that will be better for me. Of course, I am at full volume. But coming to what you're saying, see, in this situation, everyone, I think, is trying to fish in the troubled waters, as the proverb goes. Now, basically, of course, what you're referring to, that it was a very unfortunate fight between Kukis and Maithis. But here now, I think after a long time, the CRP, I'm talking the Central Force, which has been the target. Now, if you look at the history of Manipur, of course, security forces have always been a target by the insurgent elements, whether it was Army or BSF or Assam Rifles or, for that matter, CRPF. It was there, even Manipur Police also. Now, this, to me, it seems that it's not any faction as such. I think it is some of the insurgent element of some group which has taken advantage of the situation and tried to do this mischief. Now, these things will continue, I think. So maybe also it is an effort to divert the attention. As far as the reaction goes, well, the normal reactions should be there. Chief Minister said, all right, of course, it's condemned, it's unfortunate, all that. But more important is to take concerted action against the people. The search operations are already on. Hopefully something they'll be able to track soon. And I think that the need is to be more on guard now henceforth. Not only taking care of that there are no clashes between the two communities. In fact, there should be peace efforts, I think, are on, but not working perhaps so far. But also now, the insurgent groups, I think, were trying to resurface. Action has to be mounted against them. Manipur Police is in no position to do it for so many reasons. So Central Forces have to step in. Assam Rifles and Army, of course, they are there. BSF is also, I'm sure, there, a bit of it. So this has to be done. And I think it should not be taken lightly, because this may be the beginning of a new trend, which will add complications to the present situation in Manipur. That's all, Vineet, as of now from me.
Major Mohammad Ali Shah, you've been in Manipur, you live there, you speak the language, you have, familiarized yourself with the locals, and you've been a prominent figure ever since, these disturbances started to, erupt in Manipur. How would you categorize as this one? Is this the beginning of something more sinister?
Vineet, that's a very good question. And firstly, my heartiest congratulations to you. I have been speaking on the subject since morning. I have been on different channels, and you're the first anchor I have come across who've pronounced certain names like Naransena. In fact, correctly. I mean, with all respect to the other anchors, I haven't seen a simple name like Naransena being pronounced clearly by any other anchor before this, Vineet.
I
Now, the very
appreciate
fact
that.
is, yes, Vineet, the very fact is, when this attack took place, now no one has actually claimed responsibility, and both are shifting the blame on each other. Initially, the Imphal Free Press, one of the local newspapers from Manipur, in fact, they reported that the Kuki militants had done it. Thereafter, there was a notice issued by the Kuki NP that they condemned this attack. Then the ITLF, that's the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, they also condemned the attack. I know a lot of Kuki friend people, they have also condemned the attack. Now, Vineet, my experience over there has been that the Kukis have never attacked the central forces, the security forces in Manipur. At least not, it didn't happen in front of me earlier. So it is indeed very alarming and concerning. Now this matter needs to be investigated thoroughly, because as the letter, as the press statement issued by the Kuki NP and the ITLF, who have condemned the attack, they have said that this needs to be thoroughly investigated and one should not jump to conclusions. Now the very fact the two CRPF men who have been martyred, irrespective of whoever's done it, whether it be it insurgents, be it anyone, it is a dastardly attack which needs to be condemned, and whoever the culprit means has to be brought to the book. The two CRPF men who've been martyred, and Sarkar, who was 55 years old, and in fact both belong to the same battalion. In fact, and Sarkar was the son of Mohammad Kabad Hussain of Bhumrabal, in fact, and the second one, in fact, he was Arup Saini, 40 years old. He's son of Ram Kanta Saini. Now, the very fact is, when an FIR certainly has been registered against this dastardly attack, and several other CRPF men were wounded in this attack. Now, the very fact is, we have to. That is not the end. Okay, whoever done it, and we held them guilty. No, it is the very fact is that today it's the CRPF men. Tomorrow it could be anybody else. Tomorrow it could be local civilians over there, innocent civilians, whoever, irrespective of the insurgent group, irrespective of the attackers who could be, this violence has gone way too long, Vineet. It has gone way too long. 1st of May, and now we are just about 3 days short of 1st of May now. So it's gone too far. It's gone beyond boundary, and it should not have been allowed in the first place. It should have been nipped in the bud. It could have been maximum. Had the army been sanctioned to come in by the state government within 24 hours, 48 hours, a week at the most, we could have doused the fire. It couldn't have gone so far. Now the very fact is we've come so far. It is extremely troublesome, and it pains me no end.
Right. And Major Kongsai, how do you look at this? This valley is primarily inhabited by the Meitei community. The hills of Manipur South and some other areas are also dominated by the Kuki-Zo tribes. Is this a local tension, or is this a sign of something that the government definitely needs to nib in the bud?
Good afternoon, Vineet. Thank you for having me here. And I feel privileged to be a part of this panel with my learned friend, Muhammad Ali Shah, and senior panelist, Bora sir. And especially Muhammad Ali Shah is so well versed with Manipur, and he have, the amount of interest that he show in Manipur is amazing, and salute to him. First of all, before I give my comment, I want to give my deep salute to the CRPF martyrs who lost their life on their line of duties today. Indeed, it is very unfortunate, and I find it's totally avoidable. It is almost a year. This coming 3rd May will be completing, the turmoil in Manipur will be completing 1 year. And loss of life is not stopped yet. Then the question could everybody, every thinking or every every concerned citizen of India will question why. And if the problems consist for about a month, 2 months, the responsibility could rest, or to the state government. But it is almost a year and the killing doesn't stop. Then it is very unfortunate. And this, and the unfortunate part is the law enforcing agency must have no dearth of information and agencies whose foots are on ground. And yet, till now, it is almost 24 hours now, no clarification, no facts come out from the government side or maybe from the uniform side. That is very unfortunate. People are reacting and people are forced to react through media. I think this is very, very unfortunate. And I think that could be dangerous and it could cause more life in this type of fluid situation. When the government or sort of the enforcement agencies are trying to react and trying to justify the viral news or viral videos, then that will be very, very unfortunate for a mature country like India. That is should be my first comment. And the other thing, the area where this attacks happened is the area where Armed Force Special Power Act is lifted just almost a year back. Now I find it, if we are serious about law and order back to normal, the first move from the government side should be to reactivate Armed Force Special Power Act, especially in the valley. So Armed Force Special Power Act right now is activated in all the hills, which are more or less peaceful. But lo and behold, to a surprise of everyone, in the valley, Imphal Valley included, and the place where these incidents happened, the Armed Force Special Power Acts are lifted, where almost 5,000 plus automatic weapons are looted and still in the hands of local or civil militia. Then if these are not, taken back or deposited back to the law enforcing agency, how
Right.
can
You're absolutely right, sir. In fact, Mr. Vora, tribal leaders from the ITLF have gone on to say that they're going to arm themselves. They're going to have a self-governed administration. They're going to have a separate chief minister in areas where the tribal groups have a majority. And they said that we don't care if the center recognizes us or not. And a lot of these communities, from both the communities, have a free supply of weapons. Some armories were looted. Me and Ali also spoke about it a few months ago. And now these weapons are seeping in through the cracks and being found in every home. How dangerous is this situation? Obviously, we do not want, another Jammu and Kashmir at our hands.
Point is, earlier we were just discussing the attack on CRPF, and that's why I mentioned at that time that it's definitely some insurgent group according to my assessment. But coming to what we are discussing now is the weaponry in the hands of civil militia, which is very, very dangerous, of course, unfortunate. How many weapons have been smuggled across, gone to other places, how many are being sold, money is being made, all this. And, well, even though I have headed the Manipur police, I was Home Secretary also there, I have no hesitation in confessing that many of our own policemen were responsible to hand over actually the weapons themselves to their respective communities. Now, having said that, and I don't think many have come back, maybe about 1,000 or so, exact figure is not known. In any insurgency situation, even 100 weapons are more than dangerous. And 1,000 is a huge, huge number. Now, this is one, and we haven't made much progress. I think that's a complete failure of the state government, of the central government. There's no doubt about it. Also, of course, our diplomatic relations across the borders they also needed to be toned up. But of course, Myanmar has certain other problems. It's difficult to talk to them. Now, coming to what you said, some of cookie people have said they are going to have their own administration, they'll have their own chief minister, they're not bothered about the state, about the central government. Well, of course, see, anybody has his own views. They want to do anything they'll want to do, but it's against, of course, we all know it's against the Constitution of India. It is wrong. It is illegal. Well, those issues, when they come up, will be taken care of. Now, of course, it's only statements. These are only threats. And maybe it is one way to put pressure on the government that they should be given a separate state. See, Manipur, if you look at the overall map of India, Manipur itself is very small. And then even there to have a cookie land as a state will be very, 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 very small. And it's difficult to survive on its own. And I think if once we concede as a principle to give a state to one community like this, there'll be no end to these demands in India. You know what's happening in Nagaland versus Kashmir issue, the constitutional. Even to Nagas, they have been told very clearly that you have to be part of India. Because once if you agree there, then you'll have to agree in J&K also. There's a lot of ramifications of things. So I think that as far as these statements are concerned, we shouldn't be really much worried about it. I'm sure there are backhand channels which are working to see that these things don't actually happen on ground. But what is important is that how to bring peace, how to tell the community, cookie community, that injustice has been done to you, how to set it right. Our Mehtis, for example, are also saying the same thing. I think the kind of attention which was needed to be paid to Manipur has not been paid. Hard decisions, political decisions have not been taken. And I think that needs to be done. And it must be dealt with on top priority because situation may get again out of hand. There's some kind of a peace on the surface, but the way now things have started to emerge only, I think they must be nipped in the bud. It's very important and necessary the top priority is given by the central government to the situation there in all respects. Vineet.
Ali, we spoke about this extensively as well. In November and December and even in January, there were reports coming out that both the communities had cordoned themselves off. They had oversupplied themselves with weaponry. There were also reports coming in that both the communities had set up checkpoints for the other community to not be let in. And of course, not obeying orders from the government and including the state and the central government. This is kind of a behavior which is, hinting towards a mutiny. Biren Singh has been at it. He's been reassuring the central government that all of these problems are on the verge of being ironed out. But in practicality, what does this attack tell us today? Where are we when it comes to Manipur after this attack that we saw?
Okay, Vineet, that's a very good question. The attack on the Bravo 128 Battalion, which was deployed in, it was part of the 2nd IRB headquarters of Naran Sinha, Mainang. Now, the very fact is this attack today is just not just an attack. About a week back, there was again a very gruesome attack, rather, I would say, on civilians. In fact, people would call them village volunteers. I would not like to name the community, which community attacked who. But gruesome, mutilated videos were sent to me, Vineet. Every day I get some horrifying videos from both sides. In fact, it's gone a bit too far. It's gone really a bit too far. And we have neglected one of the most beautiful states in the country, which has really contributed so greatly, so richly in nation building. We've had the best of sportsmen, many comments from Manipur, Mirabai Chanu from Manipur. You name the people, they have got such fine culture. We have neglected them. That if they are fighting, they will down the fight. No, we have to. It is very important to take personal interest and intervene of every single individual. If we try playing on a narrative that all's well in Manipur, all is not well. Unfortunately and sadly, had this thing happened in Jammu Kashmir, everybody would have been interested. It would have been the top breaking news. But Manipur, somewhere or anywhere in the northeast part of India, unfortunately, sadly, it gets behind. It's not really, and they are the ones who contribute so much, and they take pride in saying that we are Indians. So what is the problem? Because they look different? No, I think they are our own people. And this is the Assam Rifles tie that I'm wearing right now. When I was with the Assam Rifles, or when I was in the northeast part of India as ADC to the Corps Commander, we always felt, and I come from J&K, and I always felt that there was Armed Forces Special Power Act in J&K also, there was Armed Forces Special Power Act in the northeast part of India as well, in states like Manipur and Nagaland. So we felt that, okay, here we are operating with who? We're not fighting an external aggression. We're not fighting China or Pakistan. They are our own people, their own countrymen. So the only way forward I saw at that time was by winning hearts and minds. But I always felt a gun will never bring peace. A gun will only bring pieces. And I have a certificate from the Red Cross Society for donating my blood 12 times every 3 months. I would give my blood. So people over there who would perceive the army or the security forces against them, instead of feeling intimidated, now would feel that the security forces are with them. And we had worked really very hard. We had put in our heart, blood, and sweat in that. Now, where are we getting back? A state which had hosted FEMNA Miss India. There was international polo tournaments. There were people coming from where not? Now suddenly that state we find burning, and we find Meiteis and Kukis have never clashed in the past. You take out the history of Manipur, you'll find clashes between Nagas and Kukis. You'll find clashes between the Meiteis, the Meitei Pangal, those are the Meitei Muslims, and the Meitei Hindus. You'll find clashes between anybody else, but you would not have found clashes between Meiteis and Kukis. But now, unfortunately, over a year, I would say we have allowed it to happen. Why I would say we would allowed it to happen is because there has been no much intervention. And it's a political problem, Reed, what's happening in Manipur. And a political problem does not have a military solution. So when we have...
That's a great point. That's a great point, Ali. Major Kongsai, taking a leaf out of an excerpt out of what Ali said, that it's a political problem. And that's exactly what needs to be addressed. Do you think that, the Home Minister visited a few times. He tried to sit with the community leaders as well. What do you think is still missing? What's more important than diplomacy and dialogue? The central government knows that. It's carved a niche for itself internationally when it comes to diplomacy and dialogue. Why can't we do something similar at home?
Thanks, Vineet. It's very, very appropriate and very nice question. I can't agree more to my friend, Dr. and Major Muhammad Ali Shah in this regard. Such a beautiful and such a small stage in India, but the contribution, especially in the sphere of sports, is Manipur was dominating sports almost 40, 50 years. Used to be in the top chart in the national games medal tally. Can you put me this one in a screen, please? And regarding the Home Minister's visits and this one, I find it, the seriousness from the centers is still lacking. The clear indications of, the clear message for peace. If the message is clear, I think there shouldn't be any problems. I really feel for the troops whose boots are on ground. They find it difficult to operate, to my mind, because I really feel that the troops in Imphal Valley or in parts of Manipur, they must be painful to see the civilians moving around freely with the weapons and ammunition around, but their hands are tied and they can't do anything. I really feel, being from the army background, I feel and I can feel what they would feel when they saw people moving around that way. And as Muhammad Ali says, to win the hearts and the minds of the people back will be very, very important. Our Honorable Home Minister's visit last year, seriously, and he stays for 3 days. And he promised that he will be back as soon as possible, maybe in terms of a month, but he didn't come back. And when he came back this time, he just come back for a vote campaign and he just spent some few hours in Imphal and went back. That is the seriousness that the nations give to our beautiful states, I should call Manipur. And in the other thing, that is in regards to Manipur. When I come to the community, a Kuki community, how can you expect justice from Manipur or in Imphal, where not even a single soul of Kukis is in Imphal, who is looking after the administrations of the whole of Manipur? That means you are not party to Manipur anymore. In that way, how can you expect, how can you win the hearts and minds of the Kukis if this continues? And my suggestion would be to the central government should take this Manipur issue very seriously, and a neutral government, a neutral governing body in the form of
All right,
presidents, maybe, or
All
maybe
right,
they can change the chief ministers, and after that, they can legalize the permanent separations in the form of legislation, which
Yeah,
the
so a lot of
government
work needs to be put
Thank you so
in.
much.
We in fact respect and appreciate all the inputs that have come by way of our guest today to this very sensitive and ongoing problem in Manipur. These are in fact solutions which can also be passed on to the government locally and centrally as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of this conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.